Ladies and gentlemen, one of the underreported issues out there is what's going on our college campuses. You know, you see some of the riotous activity and so forth, but the absolute hate for Israel and Jews is spreading. And in my own view, this has something to also do with our immigration policies. But there's a wonderful website out there, legalinsurrection.com. They have a stunning, a shocking piece up there about these faculty associations and how these boycotts are spreading kind of under the radar in these universities and colleges, the vast majority of which you subsidize, boycotts against Israel. And I wanted my friend William Jacobson to come on, a great professor, the man who not only runs this site but founded it. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me back on.
Tell everybody what's going on.
Sure. It's really crazy. What you see on the TV screens is really just what's above the surface. What's below the surface is that a combination of left-wing and Islamist-type professors have done at the campus level something which really is unbelievable. They've singled out Israel in their faculty associations, and they are trying slowly but surely to get more and more faculty groups to endorse the boycott of Israel, the complete academic boycott of Israel. That means no interaction with Israeli universities, not allowing representatives of Israeli universities to show up at conferences, etc. It's already been passed by a bunch of smaller groups. There was the American Studies Association, passed it at the end of 2013, and several smaller ones that nobody's really ever heard of. But this season, they're really coming up to a big, busy season. The National Women's Studies Association is voting as we speak for the next 10 days. The membership is voting on the full boycott of Israel. How insane is that? Of all the problems with ISIS attacking in Paris, with all of the problems of women being abused in the Middle East, the Women's Studies Association is about to single out Israel. And there are several others. There are at least 6 others, or 5 or 6 others, coming up this season. They may not all pass, but the American Anthropological Association, American Historical Association, and possibly a couple of others are considering the boycott of Israel, not the boycott of any other country in the world. And it's really an insane situation, but to understand it, you have to understand the mentality. They have created, in a sense, flipped what the Iranians do. The Iranians consider the U.S. the great Satan and Israel the little Satan. For these faculty members, they dislike the United States. If you read what they say, they hate the United States. They view us as an illegitimate colonial empire, endemic sexism, racism, etc., etc. But they realize they have to still be fed. So their bread and butter comes from U.S. universities. So they've made Israel the great Satan. And all their frustrations, perceived frustrations with Western society, they're now taking out on Israel. And it doesn't, they haven't gotten any of the really major academic groups to do it, but they're pushing away. And it's really something most people don't understand that's going on. And what's even worse about it is that the taxpayers are subsidizing all this, because these are all tax-exempt groups. And so we, in effect, are subsidizing these professors in their faculty organizations to boycott Israel. And it's just an insane situation.
Is there a particular group, force, funding source behind this, or is it just sort of growing? The word gets out.
Well, we don't really know what the funding is. And now realize a lot of these professors, they are funded by the universities. They're on, many of them are tenured, they're on university faculties. They're not a big percentage of the total professorial, employment in the country, but they don't have to be, because relatively few people can take over smaller organizations. They get their people on the key committees, they take them over, they take over the national committee, and then they drive through these resolutions. So, for example, there isn't a single university in the United States that's considering a boycott of Israel, because in a university you've got a lot of other players involved, not just these faculty. You've got presidents and trustees and students and parents, but in their own organizations, like American Studies Association, which is completely controlled now by anti-Israel professors, National Women's Studies Association, Angela Davis, the radical from the 60s, has been helping them out with their boycott push for Israel. So they can take their organizations, take control of them, and there's no countervailing forces. And that's really what's going on now. And it's really a sad situation because they're making a mockery of academic freedom, because the American Association of University Professors, a very large group, which is the one that essentially holds up the standards of academic freedom, has said that these type of boycotts violate academic freedom. Yet these professors are running wild at their own organizations passing it. And like I said, the crazy thing is we're subsidizing it because it's tax exempt.
Let me ask you this. Has Barack Obama denounced any of this?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the administration has weighed in, as far as I know, at all on this. Now, there have been a number of congressmen, and there have been, at the state level, there have been anti-boycott laws passed. But they could actually, if there's any congressmen listening right now, there's a very easy way to address this, which is nobody has a right to be a tax-exempt organization, and there are rules in the IRS code that prohibit certain conduct by tax-exempt organizations, such as lobbying. Even though lobbying is a constitutionally protected right, and it's right in the First Amendment, nonetheless, you don't have a right to get a tax exemption and be a lobbyist. That Congress could very easily amend the IRS code and regulations to indicate that you can't be a tax-exempt organization and engage in this sort of destructive...
But if you're saying what you're saying is right, I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Individual citizens can file complaints with the IRS against these organizations.
That's right, and I did. And I filed one against the American Studies Association, a whistleblower complaint, almost 2 years ago. Have heard nothing from the IRS. I don't know if I ever will hear anything from the IRS. We submitted, with a law firm assisting me from D.C., we submitted a very lengthy brief on why the American Studies Association has violated the existing rules, but IRS has done nothing. I think it's going to take congressional action, and I think they can do it, because these people have a right to boycott whoever they want to boycott. They have a right to espouse whatever views they want, but they don't have a right to a taxpayer subsidy to do it, and that's what they're getting now. And I don't think they would be doing this if their tax-exempt status was on the line.
Mm-hmm. All right, William Jacobson, keep up the good work. That's legalinsurrection.com. We appreciate it. We love your site.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care of yourself.